Wow.
You're going to like this.
Oh, no, I'm not. Because there is no goddamn middle.
This is not unlike ancient Rome, by the way.
Not so much the family circus. Yeah. Yeah, when I did Mary Shelley, I had the same issue with necromancy.
A lot of them wanted to create self-sustaining farms and got into crystals.
I know.
Okay.
I understand that.
But yeah, I'm reading Livy, who is a shitty historian.
Because Eerie Gygax.
Others say that because Laurentia's body was common to all the shepherds around, she was called a she-wolf, which is a Latin term for whore. You were audible last season. It just, most of it was you slamming the table.
As the Romanists at the table. Well, duh.
Yeah.
Obviously. Ipso facto.
Right.
You know, to engage in a little bit
Ipso
of dog
facto.
Latin.
You have a sword rack.
This is a Geek History of Time.
Where we connect nerdery to the real world. And if you hadn't guessed, we were having a conversation before we started recording this. My name is Ed Blaylock. I'm a world history teacher with one section of remedial reading here in Northern California. And who are you?
I'm Damian Harmony, and I've just realized that we've recorded 8 episodes on Batman, and we've probably got another 4 to go. This is now the Batman podcast. Like, what are we going to do for a palate cleanser after this?
Something Marvel.
Okay. Well, maybe something not comic booky. Like
maybe something not comic booky.
Yeah. Let's
we really do have to think about
Jesus.
that. But and the thing is, as we're talking about it though, I think it bears mentioning
that I'm a Latin teacher in Northern California.
Well, number one,
yeah.
and number two, that in our own defense, Batman is one of these characters who there has just been so much shit done with him.
That's true.
In the course of the last 80 plus years, he and Superman, I think even more than any other pair of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
They truly are archetypes that we have in the modern era come back to over and over and over again.
That is true.
And every time the zeitgeist changes, we get, at some point in the cycle, we get new Superman, and at some point in the cycle, we get new Batman. And they kind of react to one another, and they kind of counter one another.
Yep.
And they are the Arthur and they're the Robin Hood and the whatever bardic character you want to think of our era.
Mm-hmm.
And every generation has to come up with their own spin on these characters that already exist.
Yeah.
So I mean, part of the reason that we have to spend so much time talking about this crypto fascist motherfucker, to be really blunt about it now, is that he hasn't always been that, and every generation brings, we call him that. I call him that right now because that's what he looks like to us.
Yeah.
In the current time frame. And
oh god, when we get to the current iterations, you're going to see a lot of that shit too. Like,
well,
yeah.
Okay, so when we left off, last thing you had mentioned was that the time span between Burton 1 and Schumacher 2,
yes,
was the same as the time span between Schumacher 2 and Nolan number 1.
Yeah, because it was 89 to 97, and then it was 97 to 2005.
And that kind of baked my noodle.
Because
I'm not gonna lie.
It feels like it was a lot longer, right?
It really does.
Well, there's a couple reasons for that. One, you and I came of age. Okay. That's just true. Media changed a lot between those 2 years. Between 97 and 2005, there was a much bigger media change than there was between 89 and 97.
Okay.
Because while between 89 and 97, you had the advent of the internet, between 97 and 2005, you had readily available broadband internet. It's kind of like the difference between no TV and having TV, and then having TV and having a TV with a remote control.
And then having TV with a remote control and over 100 channels.
Well, you won't get over 100 channels without a remote control.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're entirely right. But there is I'm going to argue there is as much of a difference between TV with no remote and TV with remote as there is between TV with remote and 25 channels and TV with first generation remote 25 channels, and a generation later TV with remote and over 100 channels. Like, the landscape shifts.
I think it's a difference
dramatically.
I think what you're talking about is a difference in degree, and the degree shift is different, but I think it's a difference in kind. When you go over there and click the thing, because you're going to turn that damn thing off. There is not that much broadcasting going on because people sitting there with a remote are just hitting their thumb. And now you have round-the-clock broadcasting. And yes, you do have an explosion of channels, but you already had round-the-clock broadcasting that allowed that. So that's a difference in degree. I'm going to say shifting from no remote to having a remote, because that's different in kind.
All right, I see. Okay,
and I
see the argument you're making.
Yeah,
I think the drama level of the change, I think, is comparable, though, because of the massive difference in scale.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to say you're wrong, because I think you make a meaningful point there, but I think after a certain point, a big enough change in scale almost becomes a change in kind.
Yes, it does.
Or becomes as dramatic as a change in kind.
I fully agree that a difference in degree can turn into difference in kind. Largely that point's academic, but that's why we're here. I do think, though, that the change in culture between 89 to 97, when the internet was still nascent, it was still dial-up, it was still localized for the most part, versus the change from 97 to 2005, suddenly you've only got like 7 corporations running most internet. It's all broadband, or it's wildly available broadband, and YouTube has started. And so I'd say that shift is a massive difference in kind. It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, you get no argument out of me.
But the real reason why it feels like it's so much longer is because something happened on September 11th, 2001. And that's a flashbulb through which you kind of restart the ticker tape as far as what you think history starts with. Because everybody remembers where they were, kind of thing. That becomes the anchor point.
Unfortunately, it was our generation's version of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Or Daily Plaza.
Yeah, I fully agree. So I think that's what makes it feel so long.
I think there's something there. I think there was a really major change in the character of our culture.
Yeah.
After that.
Yes.
So yeah. All right.
So it's going to feel like it's a lot longer, and I really think that's because the movie Master of Disguise was being filmed at that time, and that is what. I mean, there was also a tragedy in New York, but the Dana Carvey movie,
really good beer. You nearly made me spit all over the microphone.
You disagree that
is not cool.
A movie with Dana Carvey, Brent Spiner, and Jennifer Esposito is not worth. I mean,
yes, I disagree.
Okay.
Immensely.
Agree to disagree then, I guess. Because
okay.
You name another movie that literally only made it to 80 minutes with credits that had as huge a national impact as this movie did.
Off the top of my head, I will confess that I cannot.
Right.
I'm just okay. I'm going to give that one to you.
Okay.
in the interest of moving on.
Oh, fair enough. I will call that a victory and strut around and brag about it.
Oh, okay. So I'm podcasting with a pigeon. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Understood. Got it. Cool.
So,
Cuckoo, motherfucker. So yes. So the time that the 8 years between the end of Schumacher and the beginning of Nolan do feel much longer in retrospect.
Yes.
Than the 8 years between the beginning of the, I continue to say, the modern Batman cycle and the end of Schumacher.
It is though. That's the thing. It's I mean you've okay. So I think that the Nolan is the modern.
Okay.
I think
right.
that
Fair.
is the breakaway, because the other
Fair.
one is still emblematic of an era that we're no longer in. But the Nolan Batman has started a
way to make me feel fucking old, man. But yeah, no, I mean, I have no way of arguing. But,
yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So,
you're right.
So here we are, 2005, and maybe this is also why it feels older, or it feels like it's been such a long time between those two, because this one's called Batman Begins. So the other ones are like prehistoric Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Okay.
So
meaningful.
This is the first of the Nolan trilogy. This is the throat cancer Batman. This is the one grounded in reality, not iconography. Batman Begins.
Okay. I'm fascinated by grounded in reality, not iconography.
Yes.
Throat cancer Batman, I totally understand what you're talking about with that. Like, I get that.
Right.
It took me a minute, but I got there. So I get that.
I would love Emo Phillips to play Batman.
There's only one way I would watch an Emo Phillips movie, or Emo Phillips play Batman, and that would be if Andy Warhol came back from the dead to direct. Because that's what you would need.
You could just see Emo Phillips just talking very light and going into different things while he's fumbling with his utility belt. Oh.
You're really lucky I finished my beer before I did that. Because I'd have to reach through the monitor and fucking hurt you. Oh dear. Yeah, that's performance art of an entirely different novel kind of level right there.
I gotta ask if any friends can get in touch with Emo Phillips and pitch that. That would be amazing. That would just be amazing.
Okay. Since you can't get
Warhol,
you need to get Waters.
Yes.
It has to be one of the two of them.
Yes.
Because otherwise, why are you even bothering? But,
true, yeah.
Yeah, but oh my God.
So
okay. So we're clearly very amused by our own sense of humor.
Yes.
But to get as serious as we ever get here, Nolan and rooted in reality, not iconography.
Yes.
Explain.
Okay, so this Batman is the 2000s version of what Bruce Wayne was tried to be. What Michael Keaton was trying to do with Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
This is a 2000s version of it. So things are updated. It's not so much about the internal so much as how he expresses that internal. Christian Bale played Batman as a rage monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's 2000s, right? 89 is I'm depressed and I'm drawing inward. 2000s is I am raging, physically and psychologically aggressive. It's also much more close to noir than any other because Nolan and Bale both wanted to really push Batman toward a moral ambiguity. And I say this knowing full well that this is 2005, where we're not the good guys in the world anymore. We can't even pretend to be.
No.
And we're starting to embrace it. That's the scary part.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
The moral, not even ambiguity, the moral relativism.
Yeah. The right of might is.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I see that because of course, now by this time we've been at war in the Middle East for 4 years now.
Well, let's
in
see.
2005.
The invasion starts in 2002, right?
Okay, so call it 3 years,
yeah.
but still.
And
nobody in the audience of the movie by 2005 would be would remain by that time absolutely convinced of our unwavering moral rightness.
Yes.
Because by 2005 we'd seen Abu Ghraib.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, I'm trying to remember, when was the Surge?
The Surge was
05 was before.
Yeah,
05 before.
Yeah, because 05 was after we reelected Bush, who said, "Yeah, I fucked it up, but you don't really want to change leaders." And besides, this guy, he lied about his service in Vietnam that I ducked, and so we ended up having an election about the wrong part of Asia, and about the wrong war. And with the guy, Ed is drinking heavily,
Okay.
No.
The audio effect didn't quite work there.
So
I was trying to whistle through my beer bottle.
The Surge happened in 07, if I recall. Late 06, 07. Folks, add us. Find us on the Twitter. We'll give you the address at the end.
Yeah.
So it's a bad time. It really is. And rage is happening.
You're gonna have a bad time.
The next year a song would come out by a group called Blue October called Hate Me. Like, it's just a really bad time.
Okay, all right. So I gotta get personal for half a second here.
Okay.
And of course it's me, so it won't be half a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 05, 06 is the time period during which I was divorcing my first wife.
Mm-hmm.
And
holy shit! Hang on. You and I absolutely married each other. Because you're divorcing your first wife as I was marrying mine, and then I was divorcing her as you were marrying yours.
Oh, shit.
God damn. Okay. So anyway, right. That's depressing.
So anyway, 2005, 2006 was the point at which my first marriage was disintegrating.
Mm-hmm.
And that song by Blue October, really, really fucked me up.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
It did bad things to me the first couple of times it came on the radio. After about the third time, I was like, you know what? No.
Click. Yeah.
I for my own sanity, I need to walk away from this.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I went with, my best friend and his wife to go see Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
And the color palette of that film very, very clearly and very meaningfully matched the color palette of my own internal emotional landscape.
Oh yeah.
Lots of grays.
Mm-hmm.
And in my recollection, what's interesting about Batman Begins is there's an awful lot of it that happens in daylight.
Yes.
Which all of the other since '89, all of the other Batman films had been, everything happens at night because obviously Batman, like nocturnal.
Right.
But there's an awful lot of stuff in Batman Begins that happens in not only daylight, but like broad daylight.
Oh yeah.
But it's all immensely washed out.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Daylight. It's all gray, overcast.
Yeah.
Daylight.
Yeah, and it's a daylight version of noir.
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. The character Rachel Dawes is created entirely for this particular movie. So if you're keeping score, that's 3 female characters created entirely for the movie, or maybe 4. As for the foci and the themes of this particular one, it's yet again a product of our times. This Batman movie has Batman as its central character, even though Batman doesn't show up until an hour into it. Bruce Wayne is Batman, whereas Michael Keaton's Batman was Bruce Wayne. This particular Batman iteration is fatherless, and that's kind of the thing. He's in search of a viable father figure and kind of keeps getting burned by it. Now, I say that because we were in many ways leaderless. For that time, it was leaderless. The guy was incompetent, and we kept getting burned by his attempts to make his dad love him. Bruce Wayne latches on to Ra's al Ghul as a father figure.
Yeah, and that goes catastrophically badly.
Well, he does teach him how to Batman.
Yes.
But then he also latches on to Alfred as his other father figure, the one who teaches him why he should Batman.
Yes. And by the way, I just want to say, as good as the everybody, like, I don't know if there has been a single bad performance as Alfred, like, ever. I think that's one of those parts that everybody who's done the role has done a good job of it.
Yes.
That being said, Michael Caine's Alfred is fucking brilliant.
Michael Caine is probably the best actor to have played Alfred, you know?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. You know,
You're not at all wrong.
And now Jeremy Irons is doing it, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
You know, I got to tell you, I'm low key really excited about the new film that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about that later.
Yeah, that's 5 episodes from now.
Yeah, that's like that's going to be the coda for, episode 13 of our Batman series. But anyway, carry on.
So Batman has Ra's al Ghul to teach him how to Batman, Alfred to teach him why to Batman. Really, he's got like 4 father figures in the movie, which all bring a special kind of fathering aspect toward Batman. Like I said, Alfred and Ra's al Ghul, but also Lucius Fox, who's the steady and reliable dad. And of course, Thomas Wayne, who is his actual father, who dies before they could connect. He's Fox's opposite. He is not steady and reliable because he's dead. Now, in 2004, 2005, a lot of kids' parents were off at war.
Okay.
So fatherlessness, father absence, kind of matters.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on that.
Sure.
Just only a little. I think there were an awful lot of parents who were off at war. I'm going to point out that as a percentage of the population in the United States, the number of people who are serving at any given time is relatively quite small. Which is part of the reason why it is as easy for us as a population to commit people to going to war, because not very many of us know very many people who are actually going to have to go do that.
Right.
I mean, you and I, of course, both know your brother, and so we have a very personal connection to that. Whereas, and I mean, I have a couple of cousins who served and have been over there and come back and all that. But, I think I don't want to run the risk of overselling the idea of, we as a society had parents who were off at war. I feel like that's a little bit of a reach.
Well, let me try to convince you that it's not. Okay. So, a lot of people's parents were off at war. Notice I didn't say dads. I said parents. This is a new thing. It's a new thing, though.
This is, yes. I'm certainly not going to argue with that.
Which is highlighted in the news regularly at that time. The welcome home videos, the coming home to the high school rally, all that stuff is in the feel-good section of the news. You have TV shows that are starting to highlight the war over there, including one called Over There. FX TV is doing really good stuff with that kind of thing. You have movies starting to come out about the first Persian Gulf War. You have the war itself being so entrenched in the zeitgeist, and part of the reason why is because the Bush administration is putting as many good faces onto it as possible, which means talking about parental sacrifice. So proportionally, you're absolutely right. Representationally, I disagree entirely. I think the fact that we had so many stories about parents at war absolutely skewed the story for us.
So in other words, we as a Zeitgeist, we had a manufactured
Yes.
connection
Overemphasis.
to that.
Yes.
Overemphasized. Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, and I will grant that. I don't have a counter to that, and yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You've got Bruce Wayne, who's parentless, but he's trying to grab at father figures. He's got 3 living ones and 1 dead one, right? So yeah, okay. So our leader was the unfavored son of a prior president who was doing everything he could to impress and win his dad's love. And not knowing a thing about how to do the job, he was learning about it from his advisors and his enablers as he went. Does this sound like Bruce Wayne trying to figure out Batmaning yet? That means that he's learning under the tutelage of Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and Colin Powell. Ra's al Ghul, a guy who knew his parents, Donald Rumsfeld, and a black guy who's pretty steady.
I'm never going to be able to watch that movie the same way ever fucking again.
Sorry. This is now Damian Ruins Batman for Ed.
Thank you.
Sure.
God damn it.
So, like I said, Powell was the constant and steady force. Dick Cheney was the ambitious and amoral pragmatist that Ra's al Ghul was, pushing Bush for his own agenda ultimately. And Rumsfeld was like the bad guy version of Alfred. He was doing what Bush wanted because that's what Cheney told Bush he wanted, and he was offering advice the way he could. Both had served prior masters and were now pulling Bush's strings.
Army you have, not necessarily the army that you want.
Uh-huh.
That's a really, really, really shitty counter to some men just want to watch the world burn. like
I said, he's an evil Alfred.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I heard that. Yes, I'm just saying.
Yes.
Like, how often does reality let us down so badly in comparison to the silver screen? Like, yeah. Now the comparison between Ra's al Ghul and
I would say, have you seen Hereditary? Like, we already know how badly it's let us down.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen Hereditary.
How about A Quiet Place?
See, no.
Okay.
Nope.
No. Because there's your pair right there that tell us about this last presidency.
No.
So.
Nope.
All right. So you're talking about Ra's al Ghul.
So Ra's al Ghul as the celluloid Dick Cheney. The one thing I'm going to say there is Ra's al Ghul was not a soulless fucking vampire.
He had an ideology. You're right.
He actually had an ideology that wasn't just, power for the naked grasping sake of power.
True.
And he didn't, suck the lifeblood out of kittens to survive.
True.
So, one of my favorite moments from The Daily Show back during that time period.
Yeah.
Was Jon Stewart, looking at the camera saying, so, it was interesting this week. In Washington, D.C., the air was a little fresher, and the birds sang a little sweeter in the trees, and the sun shone a little brighter. That's right. Dick Cheney was out of town all week.
My favorite was where Dick Cheney shot his friend on a hunting trip, and his friend
apologized to him.
Yes.
How, what level of Dark Lord of the Sith do you have to get to pull that off?
Right?
Like I want an experience point total. I want to know.
Yeah.
Like what level was Dick Cheney as a necromancer to have that fucking happen?
Yeah.
Like, dear God. And we thought it couldn't get any worse.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Like, Dark Lord of the Sith, again, has an ideology. Although I would say Palpatine, his ideology was power for its own sake. So So also
Yeah, yeah.
in
Go ahead.
in 2004, we were also still really damn scared. Who was the main bad guy?
Oh, a guy with an oddly Arabic sounding name.
No, I was saying in the Batman movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Scarecrow.
Oh, okay. All right. I was thinking of Ra's al Ghul. But
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but yes,
you're right
Scarecrow,
actually. But
fear.
yeah,
Yeah.
Scarecrow. Yeah, he's all about fear. And the other theme, right? Batman in this time is not fearless, but he did rise above his fear. Thus, Scarecrow was more of a complication to deal with than an actual existential threat. The threat was much more Ra's al Ghul. And Scarecrow was the vehicle for Batman to be drawn out of Bruce Wayne as a result. So it's through his trial with his fear that he then can become the Batman and face Ra's al Ghul. And the pain... Oh, go on.
There's some real interesting hero's journey kind
Yes.
of analysis that could be done with that at the same time
Mm-hmm.
as our political veneer analysis is just what occurred to me hearing you say that is we have the initial dragon pulling the hero out of his original persona to face the that's all.
Yeah. So Bruce Wayne he has to face his fear, but he has to use pain to get through it. And the pain of his search for his fathers was a much more centralized struggle for him. And it's really the pain and the despair of feeling betrayed. And tell me that people in America did not feel that shit, right? And the feelings,
in a big way.
Yeah, and the feelings of emotional pain, of being attacked when previously we'd held a possession of tremendous hegemony and privilege, are absolutely being echoed in that very thing. The despair is really there too, whereas self-reflection, not so much.
No. Bale's Batman does not spend any time reflecting on himself.
Nope.
Like at all. He is all externalized.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything is externalized. There is no meaningful level of introspection at all.
Yep.
His Batman, his Bruce Wayne are both entirely about outward control and projection of power.
Yes.
And where Keaton's Bruce Wayne was, a wounded kid trying to cope with that loss, and actually had an arc in which he actually dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
Bales never stops being that wounded kid and doubles down on.
Right.
No, the Joker can win.
Right.
Like there is no acceptance.
Yeah.
There is no acceptance phase of his mourning. It's all no. I'm going to control this one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So at the same time, nationally, there's not much self-reflection. There's nobody asking why we fight, despite it being a really good documentary that came out around the same time. They just know that there's a fight and it's scary. So be really strong and be a badass. Mission accomplished. And the editing of
fuck you.
Yeah.
The
editing of
that's actually the moment I stopped being a Republican.
Oh, okay.
Like I need to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So it's funny. My father and I actually really strongly disagree on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because of my father that this moment was just made me so incandescently fucking angry. So we all, of course, remember the moment that George W. Bush stood on a carrier deck with a huge banner behind him that said "Mission accomplished." Wearing a flight jacket and it was so clearly a photo op.
Oh yeah,
Like everything about it was so staged.
perfectly framed.
And he himself, of course, had joined the Air National Guard to avoid going to Vietnam, and then had not even shown up for all of his time in the Guard.
Right.
And so seeing that, rich boy silver spoon motherfucker wearing the trappings of my father's genuine wartime Vietnam military service, standing on the deck of a carrier. That motherfucker never landed on a goddamn carrier. Naval aviators land on fucking carriers. This is a big point for me because this is how I was raised. Like there are pilots and there are aviators, and the difference is an aviator, a naval aviator, knows how to land on a carrier in the middle of the ocean at night under high seas. He never did that shit, and he wants to stand on the deck of that fucking ship and claim credit. Isn't even fucking over yet. Understand? I'm saying this now 15 plus years later.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear how angry I am talking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I could not words.
Yeah.
My father, who was the guy who actually did all of that shit, was like, no, man, that was cool. That was the president, doing president things. And like, I've never seen eye to eye politically since. But that was literally, that was the point at which W lost me for the Republican Party forever. Like, no, motherfucker, you don't get to claim that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had already been moving away from being somewhere to the right of Genghis Khan, anyway. And my social circle had expanded to include, liberals. And so I was beginning to move in a more, centrist direction to begin with. But then that was just like, okay, no, you know what? Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been one long, gradual leftward slide for me ever since, to the point now that, I'm actually an Eisenhower Republican.
So a socialist.
So by the standards of our day, I'm, a commie, to anybody in the Republican Party now. But yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I had to, talking about mission accomplished, talking about that moment in our Zeitgeist, because the thing is, I don't think I was the only one. I think of our generation, I think there were, I'm not going to try to claim that it was like a majority of young Republicans or anything, but I think there were people who were, on the verge of 30 or around there who did look at that, and that was kind of the moment where W's Alfred E. Newman kind of character was revealed for a lot of us. Again, not like a majority, but I think there were a fair number of people who were like, this dork is going to stand up here and try to look macho. Really? But anyway, I'm projecting. But yeah.
Well, I would say that the following election did actually prove that a lot of people did leave that party, at least for the next 8 years. And then, this is what happens when you don't take the full course of antibiotics and you just wait until like the symptoms subside, because then it comes back worse. That's the problem with not stomping fascism.
Once the rash goes away, you stop taking them.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's look.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
Yeah. So let's look strong. Let's look badass. And let's hang a banner. And the editing of the movie absolutely reflects that too. There's not very many shots that last over a couple seconds in the movie. We are constantly thrown around, as is Batman in his new role.
Okay. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that, but cinematographical.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any iconography going on in there? No.
Yeah.
Is it
That's wow.
a jarring sense of reality? Yes. Is it mimicking our sense of being jostled and unsure and having to deal with fear and having to project rage? Yes. And that's what 2005 really was about. That's why that movie hit so hard. So that brings us
Okay.
to 2008,
Yeah.
The Dark Knight, the one with the Joker again,
Yes.
the one with surveillance state being necessary to
Yes.
bring back order.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is the one.
Yeah.
This is the one where the Joker isn't just chewing up scenery; he's far more fascinating as a character as well. Really, this was Heath Ledger's coming out party more than it was Christian Bale's movie. Ledger dove.
Yeah. And it is such an. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, Ledger dove pretty deep into the psychology of his character to get this performance, and it absolutely shows. And he's not method because he's not drawing on his own experiences. He did something different. Now, this was the first superhero movie to make it to $1 billion worldwide. There you go, DC. It is still the highest grossing Batman movie of all time. And it was also a stark contrast to Iron Man. Which had come out in May, which was rather tongue-in-cheek and flashy.
Yeah, yes, very, very much so, and had a very charismatic, snarky, wise guy main character who has a moral epiphany.
Yes, and takes a moral stand that is
learns,
moral.
Learns. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas this one is less about morality and order.
Yeah. And
it's very much Apollonian versus Dionysian.
Yes. So this one is gritty, it's reality based, and it's psychotic as fuck. I mean, it's a dark movie. And it was made darker by the death of Heath Ledger in January of 2008 when the movie hadn't even come out yet. The fact that he died of a drug overdose or a combination of drugs that was toxic to him, and he had worked so hard at this role, made it even darker and grittier. And Heath Ledger was not the only death attributed to this movie, by the way, because a stuntman died in the car crash scene.
Oh, wow, no kidding.
Yeah. So Nolan decided...
Oh, wow.
Nolan decided to get away from what Burton had done with Joker. He specifically avoided his origin story so that Joker would be an absolute character. But this is a podcast about Batman and the depiction of Batman, so I'm going to talk about Batman. Okay, but it did need mention because Joker is such an interesting cat. So Christian Bale comes back to play Batman. He continues to play him as a man who's been struggling with identity. In his discussions with Harvey Dent and Rachel Dawes, we see Bruce... By the way, Rachel Dawes is played by a different character. We see Bruce Wayne discussing the true nature of Batman, in contrast to Harvey Dent, who is the White Knight versus the Dark Knight. And you get into this hero we deserve versus hero we need. You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. That kind of stuff. A lot of identity questions and a lot of doubt as to whether or not Batman is doing the right thing, as to whether or not it's worth it, and as to whether or not it's valued. But note that none of it is a discussion as to whether or not his efforts as Batman are necessary. There's such a rot in society that the need for such a Batman is clearly there. Now, this is 2008. We accept that these wars are ongoing and they have no end in sight. So there's no question as to whether or not we have to be there, which is really scary, just whether or not it's worth it and whether or not it's valued. Not that it's not necessary.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. And then you've got the Joker acting as an agitating agent there. Like, it just is worse. Like, nothing's better. In this sequel, Bruce Wayne tries to stop being Batman. He sees Dent as his own salvation, actually. And later, he decides to reveal his identity in order to save lives. So there's a lot of play with the identity. As Joker is threatening and making good on his threats to kill until Batman does this, and Batman starts to play along. Because there are Batman imitators cropping up, the Joker has a lot of people it can pick on. And before Bruce Wayne can claim it, Harvey Dent claims to be Batman. So there's a lot of issues of identity going on. So Harvey Dent is the White Knight of Gotham, and he is the, quote, bright face of Gotham's future. And then he becomes Two-Face. So the amount of spinning that I had to do to keep my head around this is insane. Bruce Wayne doesn't want to be Batman, and he sees Harvey Dent as his salvation of being Batman. And then Batman's identity is called into question, and Joker's threatening to kill people who are pretending to be Batman until Batman reveals his identity. So then he goes to reveal his identity, but then Harvey Dent lies about his own identity, claiming that he's Batman, and now Bruce Wayne still can't claim to be Batman. And then Harvey Dent gets damaged and becomes Two-Face, his identity forever shattered and bisected. Bruce Wayne is constantly trying to stop being Batman this whole time. He doesn't feel compulsion from within anymore. It's from without. Everything is acting upon him. He's let go of the fear and he's let go of the anger that led him to being Batman. He wants a normal life, and it's only external factors that are preventing it now. Doesn't that kind of sound like the last 6 months of Bush's presidency?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hugely. Yeah, in a big way. Yeah. Woof. Okay.
It gets...
And I'm going to have to rewatch this one again because... Yeah.
And there's more, because Joker sets up a two ships dilemma, which is really the prisoner's dilemma, with criminals and non-criminals. So now you've got deserving versus undeserving. So again, the hero we need, the hero we deserve. And each ship has the power to blow up the other ship, which is, again, duality and, again, identity. So who's going to act more brutally to save themselves? And you've got a dilemma, and you've got an identity dilemma and all this. And this whole movie is about Bruce Wayne's anguish at even being Batman. And I would just like to point out the first one I mentioned was despair. And this one I'm mentioning anguish. Even the solution to finding Joker so as to end his madness, as Joker is pure chaos in this movie, is the one that is a moral dilemma. Lucius Fox threatens to quit over this, and Batman now says that it's necessary, as awful as it is. Gitmo much?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So, and honestly, like, when was the Olympics in London? Was that 2012 or 2008? I forget.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I don't recall.
They set up an enormous, basically the Olympics in London was a wonderful excuse to create a surveillance state.
Yeah.
So,
it's not wrong.
Yeah, it's that's how it went. It was 2012, by the way. So I'm off by a few years on that. So he's anguishing over this. Lucius Fox says, "I'm gonna quit," and so like a father abandoning his son. And Batman says it's necessary, and then he turns around and uses the entire city as his own sonar network, which kind of cool being a bat. Which is absolutely a surveillance state in order to find the Joker and end his madness. And then he gives the power to destroy that to Lucius Fox, because he does, in the only time in history, do you have somebody with a lot of power decide not to use it ever again. Yeah. So in fact, in many ways, Batman is the embodiment of what Vision is arguing for in Civil War. You remember Vision's thing in Civil War? He says, basically Batman, his presence attracts lunacy and escalation at the very violence that he's trying to prevent. Just like Vision said, we have power breeds opposition breeds calamity. Catastrophe,
Yeah,
he says. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the first Nolan movie, it's actually explicitly called out
Mm-hmm.
that, because Gordon shows him the playing card
Yes.
and says and makes some kind of reference to an arms race or something, and
Yeah.
it's very clearly, it is explicitly called out that
Yeah.
you've shown up and now we have a new breed of crook.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Oh God. Yeah. That's absolutely there.
And so this is in some ways the expansion and payoff of that seed having been planted at the end of the Dark Knight, the Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Batman Begins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. So Gotham is clearly incapable of solving its own problems, so it at once begs for someone to take matters into their own hands. That's dangerous. And then it scorns them for doing the same. And
Wow, fashy much.
yeah, in so doing, they're abrogating their own moral responsibility and really calling into question the value of the social contract. And I love that as relates to the two ships dilemma, because the giant prisoner, goes over and takes it from the cop.
From the warden. Yeah.
That's right. And he says,
and flings it out the window.
Yeah, and he sits down. So justice is something that you can take into your own hands and impose upon others through your own force of will.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's been part of the subtext of the character of Batman since the very beginning.
Yes. Now I'm going to say there's a second layer to that subtext, because Batman is ultimately a protagonist. He is ultimately a good character. And so you are, how to put this? You are, whatever choice you're going to make is going to suck. There is no good choice to make. There is no good choice to make that doesn't leave you stained. And you have to decide as though you're the only one who can. So not only do we have this Nietzschean ideal of Batman that has been there from the beginning, but now we have a Sartrean existentialism that's going on through the arc of these two films. You have to choose. Ultimately, you have to choose.
Fucking bleak.
Yes, it is. And it's 2008. And 2008 was a bleak goddamn time. So, this is fully embodied in Bruce Wayne's desire to stop being Batman. He wants to quit being Batman, but also he wants to he wants to save Gotham, and he's noticeably exhausted by this conflict within. You see him at the parties and stuff, and he's clearly playing a tired man. Now, some of that is he's got a really active nightlife too. But it doesn't, in this one, isn't he falling asleep in a board meeting? Isn't that this one? He's anguishing in his desire to tend to himself.
On the desk and
Yes. So he's anguishing in his desire to tend to himself, but also to tend to the city that scorns his very efforts. There is no social contract in Gotham. It's ultimately an exploitative relationship at its core, and Bruce Wayne is the one suffering from that. And it's the chaos that the Joker brings that highlights all of this.
Which is yeah, man, it's a remarkably Lenny Riefenstahl kind of narrative.
Yes, it is.
The strong man, the one with the will being the victim of the masses.
Yes.
Ayn Rand would just that would be the kind of thing that would give Ayn Rand quite the good time.
Oh, she'd have George Clooney nipples. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the exceptionalism, the elitism,
the objectivism,
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Now,
yeah, it's and the thing is, I don't know if because this is Nolan we're talking about, who is a smart enough guy that, like, I have to wonder if the layers of text and subtext that we're talking about here with the objectivism and the Lenny Riefenstahl stuff and all that, whether that was no, I'm making you as the viewer complicit in all this, and I, whether he noted all of it and it was on purpose to make a statement, or if he saw it all and did it because, he was trying to make an objectivist point, which I don't think, from what I know of him, I don't think that's what Nolan would be trying to do. Or if it was just, this is the story I'm going to tell, and, the subtext is the subtext, and it's, pattern in the wallpaper kind of stuff.
I think that he would have been, given his use of color, like you said earlier, how it's just so gray and bleak. He's absolutely trying to involve you in what's going on. Because if you look at the interrogation of the Joker scene, the light is swinging, which means the borders between dark and light, the moral ambiguity is in full sway. And I mean, it's brutal, and you look at where you're focused and who's in what position and stuff like that, and you really start to see that, like, there is no difference between these men other than who has that power, and that is necessary and good. I think he probably was, maybe not in these specific philosophical terms, but he absolutely artistically was trying to put us into that mindset, or into the despair and into the anguish that is. Okay. So now
you don't start with the head.
Right. Oh,
it just gets all fuzzy. I can't remember anything.
So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
At the end of the film, his entire reputation as Batman is ruined, which is the part that I have the hardest time understanding, quite honestly. But okay. I accept it because it's part of the movie. And he, Batman, Bruce Wayne, has to choose even that. Like, nothing happens to him. He has to make every single choice, and they're awful choices. And there's nothing that he hasn't done for Gotham, and this is yet another thing that he's done for them. He saved them from the knowledge that their White Knight was ultimately corrupted by the forces of chaos. That chaos is winning. Because if chaos is winning, then everybody else in Gotham is going to give in to despair. And he's the only one that can hang on to despair and keep moving with it. So he took all the city's sins onto himself and ran into the wilderness. Literally, there's dogs chasing him. And frankly, he's doing it for a city that doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. Wow.
And this is how Bruce Wayne will finally get his break from being Batman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And all the same, it's not a liberation for him. It's a house arrest. He's still imprisoned, and he's still anguishing. And
physically crippled.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get to that when we get to The Dark Knight Rises in the next episode. But yeah, so that's the 2008. Like, you thought the 2005 was a mind fuck. The 2008... Jesus Christ. Like, the 2005 was like external, and then like, oh, we are fragile as shit. And then 2008 was like, oh, the internal, that's rotten to the core too.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a pretty stunning indictment of us as a culture, that those two movies have that arc. And he ain't done with us yet, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Oh, we get to the one that is my favorite in terms of a lot of things. Not necessarily in terms of the acting, but in terms of the... Well, you'll see in the next episode. But it is something. It is a masterpiece in I think in symbolism. I think The Dark Knight Rises is as masterfully done symbolically as the Batman Returns was, the 92 version.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So it's a little short tonight, but that is what I've got on those two movies, because I think they pair well. And because
yeah.
I just have way too many pages on The Dark Knight Rises for us to put that into this one. So,
oh crap. Okay.
yeah. So,
All right.
So Ed, what have you gleaned? Go as long as you need to on this one, because we stopped a little short.
Okay. I genuinely think, there has been, I'm trying to figure out how to frame what I'm trying to say. The Nolan movies are very, very, very strongly placed in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like for all of the reasons that you've put forth as your thesis.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot like say anything about these films as films without recognizing what time period in US history they were made.
Mm-hmm. And
I think there is a real, I don't know if ambiguity is the right word, but I feel like there's a very ambivalent emotional relationship in the fandom to these films. I think there are a lot of people who really, really, really love them, and I think there are a lot of people who really, really don't like them. And like, to the people who really are into them, there's no, like, there is no criticism of them. Like, everything about them is superlative. Everything about them is awesome.
Right.
And to the people who really hate them, nothing about them is any good. Like, the colors are flat, and
right.
you know, and Batman is this total one-note rage monster character, and you know, it's all a fascist screed, and you know, and the thing is, I lean in the direction of really loving both of these movies as Batman stories, as a return to the noir nature of the character, and simultaneously, I totally recognize the criticisms, you know, from the folks who talk about the, you know, fascist screed,
right?
You know, kind of angle on things, and I think that's part of the reason I brought up the question about, you know, do you think Nolan was like making his own triumph of the will here, or was he trying to get us to you know, notice the Verhoeven level kind of satire, you know, and make us complicit in, oh, hey, look at what you're cheering for, you know, kind of thing. And you know, they are amazing works of cinema. And I think Christian Bale gets ragged on really hard for the choices he made in his portrayal of Batman. And I think there's some validity to, like, what you said about no, Bruce Wayne in this isn't about Bruce Wayne. This is about Batman, and he is a rage machine. Like it's all anger. Like, everything is about the anger. Everything is about, you know, trying to find a way to, you know, beat the shit out of the underclass of Gotham to bring his parents back to life somehow. Like, that's totally valid. But he manages to make that believable and sympathetic. Yeah. In a way that, like, the people who are critics of these films, I don't think want to give him credit for. You know, and then, you know, of course, we're talking about Batman in these podcasts. We're not talking about the Joker, but like, Heath Ledger took everything Jack Nicholson had done with the character and then was like, yeah, okay, I can see that. But what if I just go like Protean?
Yeah, he truly redefined the role, because
he really did. Like,
yeah. Well, again, though, Nicholson's Batman was a Nicholson version of the Nicholson's Joker was a Nicholson version of the Cesar Romero version. It was derivative.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, he owned it, but it was derivative. Christian or what's his face? The Heath Ledger. His was original. His was original, and everybody's since then has been a response to that.
Well, okay. I think his was original. I think his was, so you're talking about, Nicholson being a Nicholson interpretation of Cesar Romero's Joker, and that's totally on the money. I think all of the choices that Ledger made were made as a response to Nicholson.
Yes. Yes.
In that it's going to be no.
Because Nicholson outshined, he codified. He's the codifier of the Romero version.
Yeah, and so in order to not be just doing that again, he had to go, okay, what if I just make it so you can't believe a single word that comes out of this guy's mouth? Like we cannot believe anything he says. You see all of them, they're schemers.
Right.
I'm like a dog chasing a car. Okay, so you're like a dog chasing a car. You wouldn't know what to do with it if you caught it. But like you came up with this multi-layered, rather Batman-like, if they do this, then this, if they do this, then this, if then tree for this elaborate plan that you had to plan out,
oh yeah, to the minute
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like wait, no, and just the protean nature of the character, there is nothing is defined, and that by itself is a definition. The only thing that we really know about the character is that his only motivation is tearing down everything.
Yeah. He is a force of nature, ultimately. I mean, he literally is chaos and Batman is order. And yet, what I love about it is Batman is flagging. Yeah. Batman, order is not able to sustain the blows of chaos. Chaos can keep on going. Yeah. And it loses. I mean, it costs Batman to defeat chaos. Everything. It costs Batman.
Yeah. And I think the most defining, everybody wants to talk about, do you want to know how I got these scars? And as an acting exercise, that's brilliant. That needs to be taught in every high level acting class, like everywhere, because there are so many things about that are fucking brilliant. But for the defining moment of the character of the Joker, I really think it's the moment where in the warehouse he sets the pile of cash on fire. Yes. Because that's the point where all of the other crooks are like, wait, what? What? We thought you were one of us. You're not one of us. You're a fucking monster, man. We have no idea. Like, you crawled out of Hades. We don't know what the fuck you are.
Well, he is the payoff on what the Autobahn guys from the Big Lebowski claimed. We believe in nothing, Lebowski. He actually,
Yeah.
Say what you will about the tenets of National Socialism. At least it's an ethos. It's like nihilists, dude. He's a fucking nihilist.
Yeah.
He's gonna cut off your Johnson. It's.
And then God knows what he'll do with it. Yeah. No. And I think that conflict. I think that characterization of developing the character of Batman out to be the avatar of order, and developing the character of the Joker out to be the avatar of like absolute protean chaos, I think speaks very much to the mindset of our society at that time. Like there is no balancing act.
Well, I'll go you one more.
Okay.
Batman is a flawed avatar of order. And he's seeking to offload that responsibility that he assumed himself onto an agent of the government. and that agent of the government is destroyed by it.
Okay.
And then he becomes the ultimate delineation of order and chaos.
Okay.
So it's it's as bad as you said times 10. Like because like shit, this is almost an inevitability that things are going to be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
the center cannot hold.
Yeah, so you've got this guy who represents the hope of Gotham, and who can bring about change. And then you've got the dogs of chaos barking louder and louder and louder, trying to pull down everything he does until it completely destroys it. And then you have essentially a rudderless ship afterwards.
Wow, I'm really not liking that analogy on a big scale.
It sucks.
Like,
fucking sucks. Like basically, yeah, we pinned all our hopes on one guy, and then that let people just, oh, cool, now we have a target, and they absolutely did from 2010 onward. And you remember, keep your government hands off my Medicare? Like, the fuck is that? And then you do that for, like, it doesn't matter what he does. Oh, we got Bin Laden. No, he shouldn't be spiking the football. He wore a tan suit. He had mustard. Like, whatever the fuck.
You know,
and then what do you get afterwards is a populist who appeals to the people through lies, who has a really misshapen mouth, and
who isn't even actually a populist.
Right. So could it be that the next Batman movie is prophetic as fuck?
Oh man. I gotta tell you, I really hope not, because I've seen the color palette for the next one in the trailers, and I really don't want that.
Well, no, I'm saying that the 2012 one predicted these last 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and by the way, just so you know, all the Batmans after that just get worse and worse in terms of being slices of shit that we don't like about ourselves. So.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. So a little bit of foreshadowing there of what a shit sandwich things are going to turn out to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Good times.
How uplifting. How wonderful. Everybody, please subscribe. Give us a like. Give us 5 stars.
Yes. You could find us on Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Rate, subscribe, review. Let us know how amazing we are, because we're doing a damn good job here. We're doing the Lord's work.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
You're the one saying that?
Yes.
Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay. Just double checking. All right.
Yeah. Not the co-host you deserve, but the co-host you're going to get.
There you go.
So.
There you go.
But yeah.
All right.
All right. So let's see. Where can they find? Oh, no. What are you reading?
Oh, well, right now, what am I reading? I'm still working my way through Fellowship of the Ring.
Uh-huh.
And then when I put that down, I'm continuing to read the story of the Flying Tigers.
Oh, cool.
And I have now read up to the point where the actual AVG has been authorized.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the mechanics and all of the pilots and all of everybody's support crew and everybody are sailing their way across the Pacific on a series of Dutch registered liners to get to Burma and then to China. And it's really quite remarkable how young so many of these guys were.
Mm-hmm.
Reading this book as a 45-year-old.
Oh yeah.
And reading about the fact that, we're talking about these guys being, 21, 22, literally half my age, heading off to this, at this time. And I'm shaking my head at, just the incongruity of it. And yet at the same time, it's like, well, of course, who are you going to get to sign on to do something this flagrantly fucking stupid? Like, you know, like it's remarkably brave, but also like dumb.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you know, it sounds more judgmental than I mean, but just from the point of view of being, again, a 45-year-old married guy with a kid, like,
Right.
yeah, you know, it's the same. It's you know, running off to Japan to teach for 2 years only, like times 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, and the sheer dumb fuck courage involved in it is really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so and of course these guys are doing this in the you know 1939 1940, during a time in our country's history when, you know, most of these guys are coming from small towns. You know, this is before the massive urbanization that we now know as being normal.
Right.
And you know, so the first time they've been outside the United States, they're literally going to the other side of the planet. You know,
that's mind
so
bending.
yeah, it's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
It's really amazing, and it's very well written. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
Nice.
How about you?
There's a book written in 1955 called "They Thought They Were Free," and it's essentially this guy named Mayer. He basically went and interviewed people, different guys, different men, and asked them basically, like, they'd all been part of the Nazi Party, and he's like, why? And so he goes and invites them or interviews them, and essentially it's a discussion of how a very progressive democracy can give way to fascism, and it doesn't happen overnight as a calamitous thing. It happens little by little by little, which enables the catastrophes. So
Death of a Thousand Cuts.
well, it's almost like the death of the thousand cuts allows the splitting of the carcass.
Okay.
You know, and
Okay.
so yeah, you're making a lot of little cuts, and then suddenly the whole thing rips apart. You know, and it's really quite something. And it just kind of talks about how people really trusted in Hitler, and he used that to that bully pulpit to get people to be okay with governance by surprise. That was a phrase that I read in there. And yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that just seemed like a good idea to pick that up. It has nothing to do with our current situation
Yeah,
at all,
nothing at all. No,
or anything we've
no,
lived through for the last
certainly
4
not.
years. No,
Nope.
but
Nope.
totally recommend. It's
Okay.
depressing as shit. So where can they?
But well worth reading.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can they find you on the social medias?
So I can be found on the social medias at EH Blaylock on Twitter and EH Blaylock on the TikTok. And Mr. Blaylock, MR Blaylock, on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to yell at both of us, because you know I've said something heretical about my opinion of the Nolan movies, you can shout at us collectively at Geek History Time on the Twitter. And if they're looking for you, Mr. Harmony, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DaHarmony, 2 H's in the middle there, DaHarmony. You can also find me every Tuesday night at twitch.tv/capital puns. And you can see me slinging puns with people from Australia to Berlin. And all pints in between. Slinging puns every night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's pretty much where I can be found. Yeah. So there was something,
all right.
There was something I was going to say, but damned if I can remember. So
all right.
For A Geek History of Time, I'm Damian Harmony.
And I'm Ed Blaylock. And until next time, keep rolling 20s.